Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Five Star Joshi Show here on the Fight Game Media Network. I am your host, as always, Scott Edwards, and we are live here today on YouTube as well as Twitter for a live Stardom Dream Queendom review, of course. As you see here, very exciting. I'm happy to be live here today. I'm just getting over a cold, so I apologize, but very excited for this review. This was a show that I think over delivered for many. It featured a main event that people will be talking about for years, a staple for Stardom moving forward. And I'm happy to have all of you join me for this live review. So, when it comes to Stardom Dream Queendom, and really this year for Stardom, it's been filled with the outsiders and the continued push to include a little bit of everything, right? And I think that's what has made Stardom so different, so special this year as compared to, I don't know, last year even. Last year was a special year, but this year they put a little extra together to make this a very, very special show. And I will be having guests on later on in the show. I'll have people call in to share their thoughts on the show and really Stardom's overall year. And I'm sure a lot of people are going to want to talk about that main event. So don't you worry. We will be getting to that. But this was a gigantic show. And we got some people in the chat. 6 Star. Yes, shout out. And Kevin, what a great show last night. Couldn't agree more. It was a very, very special show that we got to witness. Stardom, they don't miss, right? They don't miss on these big shows. And I know there was some fear heading into this show a little bit from some because maybe some of the matches weren't as red hot as you'd hope. And some of it wasn't as, I don't know, some of it wasn't as over the top year ending feeling, much like last year's Stardom Dream Queendom was, right? When Saya Kamatani won the Wonder of Stardom title from Tam Nakano and Syuri beat Utami. We had that one main event match that felt like that, but everything else was really about the Stardom year as a whole. Stardom versus the world, Stardom versus everyone else. And we got some big title changes on this show. We got some phenomenal matches on this show. So let's get into it, right? I'm gonna stop yammering on and we're gonna get into it right here at the top of the show. So the Stardom Rumble, of course, kicked us off. I don't when it comes to the Stardom Rumble, I've started to realize there is a very different or a big difference, I should say, between the Stardom Rumbles that we are witnessing. And that is that some of them are made to be big and important, much like the one that Nagi Sayaka won at All Star Dream Cinderella. Had the legends Yuki Akawa, Chigusa Nagayo, Yoko Bito, and so on and so forth. And then there's ones like this where it's more to just get people on the card. But of course, Mei Saruga won one earlier this year that did ultimately matter. So when it comes to the Battle Royals, we kind of wait and see on what they're going to be bringing us. And this one wasn't their strongest by any means. It was, I believe this didn't even air as the free match on the YouTube page. That was actually the high speed match, which, mind you, I think was a great choice. But when talking about this match, it's very simple that it was pretty much in and out. There wasn't much story to it. I mean, Tomoka Inaba, the person who I thought would be winning, was gone, was out. So Inaba was out within maybe 2 minutes. She got eliminated by Rina. Kikutaro, who I can't stand personally, was in this. But ultimately, it all came down to super strong Stardom Machine, super strong Stardom Giant Machine, and Miyu Amasaki. And the super strong machines won, which did give me a laugh. I guess that is ultimately what I will take from that. I think for me that when watching this, it doesn't matter. You know, you're gonna either go the more comedic way or you're gonna go the serious way to set up a challenger of some sort that went the comedic way. I do kind of feel intrigued by the super strong Stardom duo here. I kind of wouldn't mind if they ended up or having tag team matches down the line, but it's okay. It's not a big deal to me either way. Um, 6 star, making, of course. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the 5 Star Joshi Show here on the Fight Game Media Network. That is my one line that I never fail to say. Uh, but let's move on now to the kickoff to the show here, right? Because this is where we got into action. This was the real show, and I think starting with high speed title matches, that's really how you kick off a match perfectly, if that makes sense, because it gets you into the show immediately, right? Because putting a high speed title match in the middle of the show, while good, I don't think you could feel at I don't think you could appreciate it as much, especially with the way Azumi and Hikaru Shimizu did it. Now, if you're doing a high-speed title match like the one of Starlight Kid and Azumi, where that was the semi-main event, that's different. This wasn't that. This was high speed at its finest. Shimizu going in there and trying herself with something new, right? Because she's not a high-speed wrestler. I've never seen her do high speed. I've seen her move fast in her matches. I've seen her kick fast in her matches, but she's not a high speed wrestler. So I was instantly intrigued by how they were going to do this, right? And I think that's really what we want to do with these matches. And Azumi has been nothing but excellent as the high speed champion. She's been nothing but excellent. And I think it's fair to give her credit. She's taken on new challengers. She has welcomed the challenges with the likes of Irina and Momo Kogo, and now she's getting her insiders, right? Or outsiders with Hikaru Shimizu, Momoka Hanazono, and of course Mei Saruga. So it's been an interesting run, but one that I think we can really appreciate. And if anyone has some thoughts on this match, please feel free to share. I'm happy to pop up comments all the time. Kevin, high speed title match is one of my favorite things about Stardom. I think Asami has a very bright future at Stardom. I couldn't agree more. I think with this title, we're starting to see not her outgrow it, but she's making it feel more important while growing in herself as a competitor. And I think that's ultimately leading us to what should be a very exciting 2023 for her, because I said it I said heading into 2022, she's ready for a Wonder of Stardom title match or something of the sorts. And while she didn't get that, I think we are well on our way to doing so there. So a great high speed title match to me. I think her second best in the reign, not counting the Azumi Kid match because that wasn't a defense. I should say her second best defense behind the Mei Saruga match. But again, high speed title match. Go out of your way to check that one out if you haven't seen the show already. But here we go. Let's move on. We had the Stars Trios match, not a teaser, but a preview for the Triangle Derby. And I think this match kind of highlighted some of fans' problems heading into the show, right? Because you have Mayu, Utami, of Hazuki, of Kogama. They've all been major, major parts of Stardom this year. Hanan, too, as the future of Stardom champion. And they're kind of all lumped into this trios match. And while I agree, they took advantage, right? They took advantage of the situation and they made it a really, really solid match. You had the story, right, of Momo Kogo and how Mayu Utani starting to doubt her. Hazuki gave up on her. And with the Hazuki aspect of the match, you had just some violence I don't think anyone was expecting, right? She went right at Kogo as Kogo was doing the Koguma bear thing, and she slapped her face. And that's really where this match again kicked into gear. I think with when we're talking about stars, they're so good at bringing out the best in each other each and every single match, right? And to me, I think that helped elevate this match. And you know, Matt with a great point, Momokogo and Suzuki went in there with something to prove. I couldn't agree more, right? Because I think with these two, they one Hazuki's had a great year, right? Hazuki has had a great year, and Dylan talking about Azumi with a top tier defense, that's Azumi's thing. But for sure, with that title match and with Shimizu, who I think was also out there to prove something, she doesn't do high speed, and what I thought would work is her using her kicks and using her 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 top qualities to combat Azumi, who is running around the ring at incredible speeds, and just you want to try to keep up. And I thought Shimizu did a great job at doing that. But back to the Stars match, Matt, I couldn't agree more that Momo and Hazuki went in there something to prove. And I think it's a great story, right? It's a miniature story on the side that it's not going to take up major time. But what it's going to do is it's going to be something to follow. And we're seeing that with Waka Tsukiyama too, right? Within these next 3 months with Tam Nakano putting on, or not putting on, but somewhat threatening Waka to get a win or you're out of Cosmic Angels. And that's not necessarily what we have in Momokogo here, but it's much of the same in that we need to see her have a great triangle derby while teaming with Mayu Utami and Hana. And they got the win here, which I thought was an interesting twist because, you saw them win, but at the same time, it didn't necessarily feel like she was as happy as she wanted to be. She had a look on her face that was almost concerned in a lot of ways. And I think for that aspect, it's really exciting to see where we go next with this story and how they both of these teams do in the Triangle Derby. But we move on here. 6-star cheering section, of course. That is what the 5-star Joshi Show is. After all, it is the 6-star cheering section. We all love 6-star here. Thank you for that comment. But we move forward here, and now the next match, and this is a big one for many reasons. The return of Pink Kabuki, and more importantly, the return of Mina Shirakawa, which ended up being just as big, if not bigger than I think we expected, right? So we knew there was a Team X here in Triangle Derby, and many of us started to figure out, what, it's probably going to have to do with Mina Shirakawa. Now, they kicked it into the new gear because this does feel like we are making her not only a center point of this, but we're also making Mina Shirakawa matter. Yes, my phone is ringing. I do apologize. And with Mina, she walks out. She has a mask on her face, and she reveals that she has 2 women with her. One, the former NXT UK star Zaya Brookside, and the other Mariah May of Europe. And this is now known as Club Venus, of course. And with Club Venus comes some interesting questions on, is this the start of international talent being injected into the Stardom landscape? Of course, all we've really had up until this point was alpha female. And alpha female seemingly is gone. Just kind of guessing, or is this just going to be these two to give Mina something to do? Because Club Venus now instantly feels like something different, something new, a potential new faction to go, to that level and that sort of thing. Because of what Mina said after the show, it's very reminiscent of when Tam brought in the Cosmic Angels, Unagi and Mina, and she stayed in Stars and said, they're not part of Stars, or no, they're not part of Stars, but we're part of Stars, and then they broke off, of course, to be the Cosmic Angels, and I think that was big there. So we kick it over to Colin, who said, "I saw a lot of negativity over Mina's new group," and I think that is definitely true. In that, I think there's uncertainty that people fear when it comes to not Mina, because I think a lot of people are behind Mina. They're behind Mina winning the Wonder of Stardom Championship. I don't know if I'm there as much because I do think that we have the options. We have a long list of options, right? And to me, she's not number one. And she has the story that if she is the one that gets it, I get it. I get it. But we have Starlight Kid ready to go. We have Mariah ready to go. We have Natsupoi ready to go. We'll talk about her later on. And to me, it's becoming difficult to book around this, right? It's becoming difficult to fully know what the right choice is and what the wrong choice is. And we have some comments here, so let's go through. Matt with the house phone 2022. Yes, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. I did I tried. I really did. I tried to bring out the all the little sounds. Um Kevin with good to see Zaya Brookside back in Japan. Um, Dylan with mid white women return. James Carlin, Zaya Brookside about to realize none of the roster is the same from her last visit besides like 3 people. That did make me laugh. And then 6 Star doing 6 star things, shouting at Natsupoi, as we always should. Now, with this match, the match itself was fine. It wasn't anything great. It wasn't anything bad. It was a match. It was a match, right? It established, it got us from point A to point B. I did find it interesting that Mina was kind of getting her absolutely rocked in the early going, but she did, put it together as the match went on. Um, and she had a good closing sequence, which I thought was interesting, pinning Tekla rather than Mai Sakurai again, which I found interesting. Before getting on the mic at the end and asking Nagi Sayaka where she was when Mina needed her. Of course, Mina got injured, Mina got hurt, so that alone, kind of started that story up. We continue on, and now we're sitting here, and Pink Kabuki's over. Mina Shirakawa will no longer be teaming with Nagi Sayaka, so automatically heartbreak. Um, and we now, of course, have Club Venus here with Zaya Brookside and Mariah May. They'll be in Triangle Derby. We'll see how they all work together as a trio because there is an emphasis now to be pushing Mina into a different stratosphere, really, as a potential faction leader down the line. So we'll wait and see how far this goes, but I can't say I'm totally sold on it. I can't say I'm jumping for joy at it, but it'll be interesting to see. Them getting behind Mina isn't shocking. It's them giving her own faction. I didn't see it. I thought she would have maybe left the faction, but again, we'll see that here. Matt, I love that Zaya couldn't contain her excitement. Who's shit eating grin as she came out. I know so it was funny. I noticed that on the video that Stardom posted, and I laughed because she's walking out there. They're all serious. And then she saw the camera and instantly smiled. And I was like, yeah, they were both very happy to be here. I saw Mariah May tweet out how this was kind of a dream for her. And I think that's cool. James, it was a group that was formed in World Wondering Stardom. And I think with Mina is that she is such an interesting case at this point because heading into the 5 star, I openly admit that I was very down on her. She had a good 5 star. She had that match with Saya that got her the title match. And then she had the title match, right? She gets injured. She has the promo of the year in Joshi, let alone Joshi, maybe of all of wrestling. And now she's coming back more determined than ever, kind of with an attitude, a whole new look, and it's very interesting to me to see where that goes. But let's continue through this undercard here because I want to get to you guys. Um, the number one contenders match. I forget what I tweeted out, what I called this exactly. It was like the Mega Haas triple threat tag team, no, contendership match or something, because these three teams, these are your three powerhouse teams in Stardom. And for me, I wasn't as jazzed necessarily with the Club Venus stuff. I wasn't. Um, so I needed a little pick me up, and this was the pick me up I hoped for. We're looking at 6 women here who have done nothing but impress, right, over this past year, whether it's Tora and Ruaka, who, have come on late. I think a lot of people had some doubts with Ruaka, throughout this year, but her teaming with Natsuko has really helped her pick up her game. Natsuko herself has been so good, right? We've gone away from the constant DQs and constant cheating, and it's really allowed Natsuko to show what she has as a wrestler. I think, if you know who Natsuko is, you know who she was as a wrestler, but this run has been a joy to watch. I think her and Ruaka are working great. What else, what can I say about Mahime that hasn't been said? Micah and Hameka, they are phenomenal, right? They are a phenomenal team. They are great as singles, but I think they're even better together. And we are all hoping and waiting for that eventual title run for them. That's what we're hoping and waiting for. Now, I'm not sure if we'll be getting it as I thought we were after the Goddess of Stardom title match results, but nonetheless, I'm happy that they are working together as a team again. They took a lot of time off there, and they had a great tag league. And of course, the new era is Ami Sarai and Mirai. I'm up and down with Ami Sarai, admittedly so. But I think in this match, you kind of just felt how special of a talent Mirai has become, right? And it's that she is so good at the little things. And yes, her push was strong. She went to the top very fast, but now I'm sitting here. All I want to see is more big Mirai matches. I think she's really put it all together, and I'm excited to see what she does in 2023. But let's get to this match, right? The Haas fight. Just a lot of Haas. Um, I'm almost speechless because they did so much in so little time, right? They absolutely destroyed each other at times. Ami and Hameka, they've been working on their moments when they tag into matches, and I thought they did have a really good one at the past Korakuen. They had a good one here. Natsuko and Ruaka, I thought they were closing on the win. Natsuko hit that second rope, senton bomb, swanton bomb, whatever the hell you want to call it. It terrified me, but it was impressive. And then Rock hit the refrigerator bomb that did not get the job done. Ultimately, it all led to Micah hitting the Michinoku driver and getting the win. Mahime felt like the obvious winners when I thought they would be facing Melt here. Now that is not the case, I I don't know how to feel, but I do know that match will kick butt. Let's get back to the comments here. Dylan talking about Mina. Uh, Mina always has a good 5 star, though. That's kind of my fear at this rate. That's so true. That's so true. I think it's all about the follow up. It's all about the follow up for her. And personally, I think with Mina, and she had the great title match, right? She had the great title match, so that was good to see. But now I need to see what's next, right? And James was all right. That's good. I know they wrestled on the DDT show, and it's funny because I would have loved to watch that match, and it's funny that they both happen at the same time because this was definitely one you could have switched over on for sure. Um, And I don't know how that match did, or how it was, so if anyone wants to tell me, that'd be great. Um, as we move forward here, having the multitask, watching both is fun. I can't do the multitasking. I'm so bad at it when it comes to watching wrestling. So I applaud anyone that does. Um, Dylan asking a good question. Will Mahime ever win the tag titles? I don't know, man. I don't know anymore. I really thought they were going to beat Belt here, and now that we're where we are, no, I'm not complaining about where we are now. It's just I don't see them winning the titles this time around, and it starts to definitely ask yourself the question: will it ever happen? They're so good, and they deserve a healthy run with those titles. I don't know, man. I don't know. They did win the Goss titles and nothing else happened after that. That's true. Um, Dylan responds, "Oh, trust me, ALK destroyed my hopes." ALK was great though. It's not like ALK had a bad reign, but I get it. James, I really hope my Hime are the ones to dethrone the current champions. Honestly, I do too, but I don't have that confidence, sadly, because we're so early now. If they get a second shot, maybe if they get a second shot, definitely, but that would be a long reign with 7 Up. And then Kevin Micah had a great 5-star, in my opinion. Glad Mahime got the win here. I definitely agree on both fronts. Micah's had a killer year. I think this was her. Some people say the year prior was her breakout year. I do think this will go down as her more breakout year. She put a lot more together as a complete performer. But let's get to it. Big time match. I want to hear everyone's thoughts on this one. Kyrie versus Utami Hayashishita for the very first time. Uh, of course, the stipulation here was if someone loses, they got to restart, right? They got to restart. They got to, excuse me, they got to wear their rookie gear. They have to get rid of the big, cool, awesome entrance. They got to do all that. And that's terrifying. And I thought there was a chance. I thought there was a chance they would do this, in fact, but they held off. They went with the 15-minute draw, but boy, oh boy, what these two did in 15 minutes was tremendous. Tremendous stuff. Shouldn't be all that shocking, right? That Kyrie, someone that just a month ago wrestled Saya Kamatani in a great 30-minute draw just to go to the next night and have a match of the year contender against Mayu Iwatani in the main event of Historic Crossover. She's found her groove now. She's found her groove now. But the scarier fact is that Utami Hayashishita right now is so much better, so much more improved than she was and from where she was at last Stardom Dream Queendom. Of course, the last Stardom Dream Queendom where she dropped the World of Stardom Championship after a fantastic run with that. She is more complete than she's ever been. She is a special talent. She in many ways, I think, is on her way to being the best wrestler in the world today. If she, I think the only way we get there is another title run, truthfully, because that's just kind of how you stake that claim, unless you're Mayu Iwatani, of course. Um, but man, she was so good in this match. And this was one of those draws where I just wanted the match to keep going. I wanted another 30 minutes of this. And I know that's a lot, but I wanted this to keep going. Those 15 minutes flew by. And that's when you know it was a great match, right? Kyrie and Utami, they are two very special talents. They and the English Twitter, the English Stardom account did say we need to run this back in 2023. They do. They do. Whether it's for the IWGP Women's title, whether it's just another singles match, they need this match to not only be run back, they need a main event spot because they have all the makings to be that match of the year contender. They have something special here, and they only tested it. I thought this match was on track. Had another 15 minutes to be better than the Saya Kamatani 30-minute draw. That's how great it was in the 15 minutes we had. But I'm happy we had it. right? I'm happy that they put this match on the show. And the 15 minutes effect, I think, actually did benefit them because now when you go back to it, it's going to be that much more anticipated. Let's see. Hit it with a time limit draw. Yes, of course. 6-star. Tommy is the master of the draw. She really is. She really is. That match with Syuri, of course, is the one we'll all think about and talk about. And she is, in a lot of ways, to me, the best, or maybe not the best big match wrestler in Stardom right now, but it's very close. It's very close. If she might have to be. I don't know how I could say otherwise because her past 3 big matches, the one with Mayu Iwatani in the IWGP tournament, the match with Syuri, the title match, that was fantastic. I thought it was just under their first match that, of course, woke everyone up to what Stardom was, or woke more people up to what Stardom was. And then this match here. She has been killing it the second half of the year. She's climbed up my Wrestler of the Year rankings after being nowhere near the top when the 6 months went by. It's very special. Tommy has improved a bunch since she faced Syuri at Dream Queendom last year. She really has in the little aspects, just as an overall wrestler. And again, it's so unfair in a lot of ways. She was already great, but now she's becoming an all-timer, which of course Dylan says future GOAT. It's hard to deny. It's hard to deny. I don't know how long she goes, but as long as she goes, if for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years, she's gonna be in that conversation. It showed Tommy's rapid improvement. I was one of those who thought she got the red belt too early. Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people definitely did feel she got that belt early, but she grew through that reign, right? She made everyone show that she was ready for that. And we know why she got that belt at the time she did. A lot happened in 2020, of course, but her rapid improvement does not stop. And I'm intrigued to see what we're saying in a year from now, right? Because 2 years ago it was like, is she ready? She had that great match with Momo, but Momo's Momo. And then last year she had one of the best red belt reigns, had that great match with Syuri to end it, and now here we are saying she's even better than that. So special, special stuff. Kevin, one of the matches of the night, even if it wasn't too long, it hopefully sets up a sequel. This was one of my dream matches when Kyrie left WWE. Couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more, Kevin. And Utami versus Kyrie was fantastic. Such a teaser for a big match next year. It really is. It really is. I could see her being Goddess or Wonder next year. Maybe SWA, which is underrated title. SWA is just, I have no idea what we're doing with that. We might be giving that to Mina based off what her faction is. We'll see. But I tweeted a month ago or so. I said that Utami's finally ready to win the Wonder Stardom title. And some people were like, "What? Yeah, what do you mean she's finally ready?" You need a trait to hold that title, and she has that trait now. That's not the super duper storytelling trait, but that people that are listening, they understand what the Wonder Stardom title is and what it's been set to be. It's the story driven, emotional title. Tam Nakano took that to extreme, but you know what I'm saying. And I think she's there now to hold that. She was always World of Stardom title, World of Stardom champion material, but now she's also Wonder, and I can't wait for that run. Let's see. Yes, Passion, of course. Thank you, Dylan. We're almost there. We're almost there. We're almost there to Passion. We're almost there. We're almost there to. I wasn't trying to say it. I was trying to say story driven and emotion. But yes, Passion also fits. Let's get to the next match. Artist of Stardom Championship match. The best way to describe this match was a hardcore match or a trios match that had hardcore elements, but the hardcore elements just benefited the match. This was one of the most fun matches on this card from all of these competitors. I know Dylan's in the chat and he hates Oedo Tai, but they were great champions, excellent champions. I think our run from Mahime Poi to these two, it was great back to back. And now we got Prominence on top. Prominence now has gold around their waist after defeating this Oedo Tai trio. Suzu Suzuki, I mean, what's there to say about Suzu Suzuki that I personally haven't been saying for months now, but other people haven't been saying, right? Because she is a special talent. And Risa Sarah has been nothing but phenomenal since coming to Stardom, and she's a phenomenal wrestler as is. And Kurumi Hiragi is the perfect third for them as a trio. I felt that more than ever in this match, and this was just so much fun. I had so much fun watching this match. I thought everyone was able to highlight themselves, which is very important. I thought Saki Kashima, you know, she took so much in this match, but we appreciate what she was willing to take. Starlight Kid and Suzu kind of taking the bulk of it in between. That was a great idea. I thought Momo was excellent. I thought everyone was excellent. And it was the what's the name? The Thunder Driver through the table that Suzu hit on Saki. That's where I kind of leaped out of my seat. I was like, oh my god, we've kicked it into that next gear, right? And Suzu now having a title, it's the first of many. It's the first of many in her Stardom career. I was so sad when they weren't in Tag League, because I thought Risa and Suzu probably would have one of, if not the best tag league runs. But we got this. We got them as champions. We got them in Triangle Derby. Say no more. I'm set. The trios matches that we're going to get between Prominence and hopefully the Big Three and Stars, the Big Three and QQ. Honestly, after that, I don't really care. The Big Three in God's Eye, between with Suzu and Mariah to work off of that. There is so much excitement to this run. And I thought Oedo Tai's run was ending here was perfect, right? You don't want to go too long, especially with the artist belts, because they do switch on a dime, and we've had two great reigns. I thought this was the perfect time to end it. I thought they had a great hardcore match. Hell of a way to change it up after that Kyrie and Utami epic 15-minute draw. Let's head to the comments. Do I think the IWGP Women's Championship will depend on Forbidden Door events with AEW? The few dream matches there. I have long given up on to trying to fully understand if Stardom and AEW will ever work together. I have no idea. I mean, it would make sense, obviously, if that title was defended on that show against one of the AEW talents, but we will wait and see on that one. Of course, if a certain Sasha Banks happens to be on both companies, then yeah, it'll probably happen. Suzuki with a Stardom belt. This is how we win. That's true. That's true. That's damn true. Prominence better for real. I can't even deny that. I love Prominence. I know you are openly a hater of Oedo Tai, but Prominence winning, it was the right spot. First years came from Suzu winning the belt. That's incredibly fair. Suzu more than anyone last year, right, betting on themselves and leaving Ice Ribbon, and now seeing where she is now, it's been an impressive bet, and it's working out. It's working out. Colin, wow, you're not a Prominence fan. Interesting. I love Prominence. But I can Yeah, if you don't like the hardcore kind of outsidery stuff, then I get it. But I thought this was the perfect change. Widescreen, I felt like their run had gone its course. I agree. I agree. I think this was the perfect limit, the perfect end to it. 6 star Suzuki needs a singles title white belt. Suzu, yeah, that's another one. Like, we have so many white belt potential people, and I have to get behind Mina winning. I'm not trying to crap on Mina. She has the obvious story. I know. But Natsupoi, Starlight Kid, Mirai, Suzuki. There's just such a long line here. If Mina wins, it can't be too long. James, at this point, we may as well have all Ice Ribbon Trios title match. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if they face the Ozaki Rebel X enemy, there's a chance. There's definitely a chance. Dream match: Sasha Banks versus Mercedes KV at Forbidden Door. Probably be great. It'd probably be great. A little impossible, but it'd probably be great. And my dream is Kyrie versus Io at Mania for the IWG. As likely as anything. I don't. I would prefer like a New Japan or Stardom show, but seeing them wrestle one more time anytime in the future is something I would welcome. So, all right, moving on here. Next up, the Goddess of Stardom title match, Heartbreaker. Heartbreaker. But man, what a match. What a freaking match. For me, the second best match of the night, which is saying something when Utami and Kyrie did what they did. And that Prominence Oedo tie match was that good. And the high speed match was also great. But this match, man, I know people hating the Nye. I know it, but her and you, 7 Up, they're killing it. They've been fantastic as a duo since coming into Stardom, and I can't deny that. They're bringing violence, they're bringing passion, of course. Um, but man, this match was excellent. It was the perfect way to attack this, right? You got Melt here, the ultimate baby faces. Natsupoi just she was out of her mind at this match. She is one of the very best in the world right now. Men's, women's, doesn't matter. She is one of the very best. Her game right now is at its very top. She is entering a 2023, the Jordan year of the 2000, and this is going to be her year. And Meltzer losing, it stunk because their reign had so much more to give. But if you're going to losing your best defense yet, right? I thought the violence between Tam and Nanai was fantastic. The closing minutes between you and Natsupoi were phenomenal. But boy, oh boy, did I have complete heartbreak. Complete heartbreak when Meltier lost. Because to me, they just I wanted to cheer them on. I wanted to see them keep going. I wanted that Mahime match. I wanted them in Aphrodite in a main event on a pay-per-view. I wanted so much more for them as champions. But 7-Up's been awesome. 7-Up has been awesome. You is a champion in Stardom. That's crazy. Who the hell would have thought that at the beginning of the year? 7-Up has been they've been tremendous. They have been tremendous. You can feel your way about Nanai, but guess what? She is kicking butt alongside you. And use the one pinning everyone. Use the one stacking up everyone. She's now stacked up Saya and Natsupoi with the last ride power bomb that the Undertaker wishes he could have done. That good. Just a phenomenal match. A phenomenal tag team title match, right up there with FWC and Black Desire for me from earlier this year. There's going to be some people that are telling you this is bad. Don't listen to them. Don't listen to them. This was violence. This was craziness. This was Nanaism. This was everything I hoped for and more. The only thing I wish is that Meltier retained, because I think that would have brought it to another level if they somehow survived. But man, I'm excited. I mean, 7-Up and my Hime, that's gonna be great. That's gonna be great. Let's get to the comments here. We got a lot. Meltier losing titles was the greatest thing that happened. Oh man. Oh man. Oh man, I thought she was great. You know, I thought they were great together, their music, but I'm so intrigued by where they go next, right? I'm so intrigued by what's the next part of their story, especially with the Unagi stuff, especially with the Cosmic Angels. I can't wait to see where we go next. I'm so happy that 7-Up won the belts. You know, I had this instant sadness, and then I sat there and I thought about it. I was like, man, they're kicking ass. Like, I'm not gonna be upset with this, right? I'm not gonna be upset with this. James, oh gosh, screaming tonight. Yeah, that's the one thing that we try to get by, but that's passion. That's passion, right? 6 star Rosie's a fraud. Um, you know, I get it, right? I get it. She she may have angered some people. Um, or he may have angered some people with the loss. I know you were ready to pack him up and roll him out, um, but I think he made up for it with the at least the main event, right? Right. People need to grow the hell up and accept passion into their hearts. I remember listening to you on Stardom Quest where I think you just did it like live. I think you accepted passion into your heart live, which was fantastic. Um, yeah, it was great. They'll be good champs. They haven't missed yet. That's the truth. That's the truth. Widescreen. They haven't missed. They haven't missed. Um, James, to be fair, I do love you. I think everyone should love you. Lou's been excellent, right? You've been absolutely fantastic, especially this year. I thought last year when she came back from injury, she wasn't as good as she was, and then boom, she's killed it all year long. Just disappointing. That means my Hime is probably yeah, yeah, yeah. But the reign will be good. That's true. That's true. You 3 belts. That's true. That is it. The Eve belt that she's holding. That's gigantic, or is that the what's the other belt she has? I don't remember the other belt she has. Is it Pure J? Does she have the Pure J belt? Maybe. Either way, it's gigantic. Love Natsupoi, yes, of course. And then Dylan, you really does have an incredible late game in this. She really does. She really does. She knows how to put to and it's not shocking, right? She's a fantastic tag team wrestler, but she's able to create drama and she just gets it, right? Right. And the near falls that we had in this match, the back and forth we had in this match, it was terrific. It was terrific. And yeah, I loved every second of it. Um, all right, let's get to the next match. Oh, we got oh, I missed a lot of these comments. We got 6 star Meltier is the greatest tag team of the year. Natsupoi is the absolute best. Nobody's on her level. 2023 is her year. Natsupoi white belt in the near future. I really do want the Natsupoi white belt run. She's gonna make Tam's run look like nothing. Hope they revisit Tam for Giulia in the future. Oh, they absolutely will. They absolutely will. They will not hold back on that one. It feels more than a guarantee. I mean, when I interviewed Giulia, she said that she does expect a big match between them again in the future. Um, I will come on the show and tell everyone how wrong 6 stars. No, no, you can't do that. You can't do that. We love Poi. We love Poi. Yeah, I was just going back. How many times has I been Goddess Tam? How many times Tam exactly? Oh, they're just going back and forth. So yes, thank you. It was the Eve International. Uh, yeah, it was that. He was holding the Eve, Pure J, and Stardom belt. Thank you. All right, so I was right. It took me a little bit to get there, but that belt is gigantic that she carries around. So there you go. Anyways, let's move here to the Wonder of Stardom Championship match. Saya Kamatani against Haruka Umasaki. This is kind of where the show sunk a little bit for me, which isn't something I'm used to saying with Saya Kamatani. It usually somehow elevates even when it's at its best, but alas, that's the truth. For me, with when it comes to Umasaki, I'm not her biggest fan. There's obviously clear potential there, but this was a gigantic spot for her. And while I don't think she embarrassed herself, and while I think the match ended up being pretty good, there were some moments there where it fell off a little bit for me. The early going was a little clunky, but they put it together here at the end. One second, I'm about to cough. And to me, right, with Saya and what she's been doing, we're kind of on this downswing a little bit with her great defenses. Um, we're going from greatness to good, pretty good. Like for me, this defense probably is only above the Unagi one. I didn't I didn't love the Unagi match, which was Saya's first defense. Um, this is maybe in the Saki ballpark, which isn't bad. It's just it didn't get to that ultimate level that you want these matches to get to. Uh, but it's fine. It's fine. Saya winning with the hurricane, whatever the Frankenstein or whatever the hell it's called. That was a little shocking, but I guess if we don't have to break out the Phoenix Splash, we won't do it. Yeah, it. This was one of those matches where I said, well, the champion really does need to retain. And the next steps of Ami Sourei and Mina Shirakawa definitely don't have me jumping for joy necessarily, but it is what it is. That's what this title is for. As Dylan pointed out to me, of course, Ami and Saya drew in the 5-star Grand Prix, so it did feel like this was a possibility, but we just keep skipping over Suzu Suzuki, and I'm not going to ignore it. I know she has an artist belt now, but I'm not ignoring that. I want that match. I need it. And it looks like we're not getting the Momo defense to either save her from tying it or save her from breaking the record with Ami and Mina ready to go. I do think that we're probably giving the belt to Mina. But I have to go through an Ami match again with Saya, which their first one was pretty bad. It was the only bad match of the 5-star Grand Prix final, but it's okay. It's okay. We're allowed to not have absolute killer matches all the time. That is allowed. This was a good match. Umasaki figured it out on the run, and she'll be really good. But for now, I think someone like an Inaba or even Hanan would have been good in this spot. But it's fine. It's if we were willing to give it to Umasaki, is what I'm saying. I think they would have all fit. Let's get to your comments. Where are we going? Oh, there's so many. Oh, she lost the Pure J belt. How about that? I was out of it for this match. I had to take a nap. Hey, good call. The main event was worth it. Osaka was definitely nervous at the beginning of the match, but halfway she pulled it together. I agree. Nice. I just wanted to point out this was good. I don't know why, but I expected Karma to come out for a reason. Then regular Osaka comes out. I have opinions on the white belt going into next year. Well, Dylan, I'll let you share them in a few minutes. Saya Studio for the white belt and maybe it's real graps. That's the truth. Ami versus Saya was a battle. Oh no! What is this? All right. This is just attacking. You're attacking. This is unacceptable. I'm not really a big Ami Sourei fan, so I was going to disagree with you whether you said Melty or someone else. I think Umasaki team with SOK more will get her more. Yeah. You're probably right. The only the problem is that for the preview match, they came out to SLK theme. So it's like, oh, all right, right. You're kind of her lapdog a little bit, but that's fine. That's fine. Let's move forward. Let's move forward. What do we have? Another comment. Suzu SLK being where I agree. You said it ringside. Well, I saw SLK and I was like, oh wait, she's out there for Misaki. I got really excited that she was challenging, but of course, Azumi challenged her earlier in the night. So we're going with that first. I will not tolerate AWG. Aren't aren't you hmm, aren't you aren't you slandering actress girls at the same time? Yeah, I'm not. Obviously, right. Anyways, I didn't say this earlier, but of course, on April 23rd, they're running the Yokohama Arena for All Star Grand Queendom, aka the Sasha Banks Stardom Show. Reportedly, very excited. I'm very excited. That's the big show this year, and they're not. That's the new World Climax, presumably. The new All Star Dream Cinderella. We're not going with the same name. Maybe All Star Grand Queendom does hang moving forward. Maybe that's the new name. But yeah, I to me, I think that's going to be just one hell of a show. And you pack that up. That could be where you do Giulia and Utami. That could be where you do what else? What else? What else? Maybe even Mayu and Sasha Banks, please. Though I have to retire, so I don't know. No, that's my one dream match. I want it. Saya and someone, and Kyrie versus someone. Maybe you actually do an IWGP title match on there. I don't know. You stack that up. You stack that one up. But speaking of stacking it up, let's get to it. It's time for the main event. Syuri versus Giulia, and what I defiantly, not defiantly, Jesus, definitively call my match of the year. I don't really care if it's not recency bias. I had this match circled. I had this match circled for months upon months upon months. I said, when these two go back at it and Giulia finally wins the big one, that's going to be it because my emotions are going to be invested in that. Now, if Mayu Utami beat Kyrie, maybe we're having a different conversation, but she did it. So let's not talk about that. With this match, you got the violence, you got the storytelling, you got the emotion, you got the physicality, you got the greatness. You got the greatness that is these two, right? And to me, I think what they do so well is that they understand each other to the point of they're willing to go an extra step or two to not only destroy each other, but to make the match that much better. From the suplex onto the chairs on the outside, um, to just one of my favorite closing stretches of the year where Giulia is paying tribute to Hana Kimura once again here on Stardom Dream Queendom, and does she love to do that? That's when I personally crumbled. I crumbled in my chair. I was like, oh man, she's doing it. She hits the drop kick, she hits the Tiger Lily for great near falls. Then she pays respect to both Hameka and Micah with their moves, and Syuri kicks out of that again. To go back in time when Syuri hit her big finish, I leaped out of my chair when Giulia kicked out. I was up and down, pacing back and forth. This is why pro wrestling is phenomenal, folks. This is why pro wrestling is the best. A match like this with Syuri and what she's done since that Utami match, it's been a historic type run. A historic type run. And what Giulia has done since the moment she stepped in Stardom, she was someone that was not welcomed by fans. Of course, she pissed off Ice Ribbon and their fans. She was kind of seen as an enemy as the outside. And, through her feud with Hana, that really, I think, without that feud, I don't think it goes this perfectly for Giulia with her feud with Hana, Wonder Storm title reign, her feud with Tam, losing to Tam and getting her head shaved, having to rebuild herself back up. 5-star Grand Prix last year. She's the heavy favorite. She has to be taken out due to injury. She comes back and has that unbelievably great tribute match to Hana Kimura with Konami as Konami's walking out the door. And then TDM continues to fold, and her and Syuri are at each other's necks, and she falls to Syuri in her first challenge. She watches Natsupoi turn her back on her. Everything was coming down. She has Suzu Suzuki at her neck, trying to get revenge for her leaving her and banning her an ice ribbon. And going through that 5-star Grand Prix and having just a phenomenal run. So many great matches, including the one with Starlight Kid, Mayu Iwatani, and of course on the final night, putting it all together, putting her complete story together by beating not beating, going to a draw with Suzuki. She didn't actually beat her, but coming to blows finally one-on-one and then beating Tam Nakano in the main event, in the final. It was a storybook type of journey for Giulia. But it all had to end here on this show at Stardom Dream Queendom. And that's exactly what it did. That's exactly what it did. This match for me was absolutely phenomenal. It'll be a match that goes down in the Stardom history books for many reasons, but Giulia is finally on top of the Stardom world, putting together one of the best runs we've seen to a world title for me in wrestling. But she's finally there. The embrace after the match, the love that her and Syuri shared, special. That's all I could say after this match was special, right? It was absolutely phenomenal, phenomenal stuff. I'm not going to go through every single move, but that Tiger Lily and the Northern Lights bomb to end it, the modified. If it's named something else, I'm sorry. It was she absolutely destroyed Syuri with it. Okay, it was fantastic, and I liked the little tweaks of listen. These two are exhausted. Not everything's going to be perfect. We're trying to figure it out. That just made it that much more real to me. This was for me the Stardom match of the year, my match of the year. Tremendous, tremendous, tremendous stuff. Now let's go through the table pile driver spots. You're right. Let's see. Referees versus Utami on April 23rd. Yeah, that'd be a good one. If they've done, they should do Saya versus Miyuki. That is the dream right there. 6-star. Syuri Giulia is one of the best matches I've ever seen and the best match of the year. Everything was perfect for the coronation of Giulia. She'll have a great reign. I shed real tears. I think we really did. I think I was I was just sitting there with biggest smile on my face, almost clapping. It was perfect. It was perfect. I think 6-star really put it together there. You said what I tried to say for 5 minutes there better than I did. So thank you. I appreciate that. What? Why are we getting again? Didn't it take place at the beginning of this year? It did. We're getting it January 8th because Azumi said so. That's what she said. I don't know that she wanted it. That's why we're getting it. She's doing one of the tables pile driver spots. I thought with Syuri driving her through that, it just brought out or further brought out how much this title meant, right? Because this isn't something that Syuri is necessarily doing, but this title and really Shuri's whole entire match in this one, she showed so much so much care for this, and that you felt her not wanting to let go of that title every time she kicked out. And yes, I know champions do that all the time, but there was just something added here where it was about survival, it was about survival, and kick out of everything until she couldn't kick out no more. It was perfect. Yes, I hit my microphone. Um, the DDM finishers and Tiger Lily bomb spots for Cinema. Rest in peace, Hana. Of course, of course, of course, of course. Um, Even in defeat, Syuri looks strong with her call out. Oh, yes. Yes. You, of course, call out Chihiro Hashimoto because why the hell not? It's going to be interesting to see how strong Giulia looks moving forward. I kind of teared up when Giulia paid tribute to Hana. This is one of those matches that people will be talking about for years. Yep. I'd be okay with Giulia only having a 6-month reign. I know it's going a full year, though. Yeah, that's the thing. She has so many challengers that could beat her that I don't think or necessarily want it to just keep going year reign, year reign, year reign. I think it gets a little repetitive. But Julia's been so ready for this that it could go past that year as well. We'll wait and see. Glorious Northern Lights Bomb is the official name. Yeah, I love that name. I love that name. I love that name. It was a good callback to the first match. It was because they were hitting all those bombs finishers at the end, and it all came together. But this show, Stardom Dream Queendom, another home run. Perfect way to end the year, perfect match to end the year in my eyes. And now we're gonna start to toss some links over to some people. We're gonna have some people jump on the show, which I'm very excited for. So I'll be sending links. I'm gonna have Matt probably join me here first because he was the one that gave me the idea. So I would definitely want him to jump on here and give his thoughts, and then I will have people pile in as time goes on. Um, because I think everyone has different thoughts on the shows, but I think overall, from what I'm getting, is that it was a thumbs up, right? If we were grading on a thumbs up, thumb down scale, it definitely worked out for everyone. I think everyone enjoyed it. I think everyone loved it. And here's to having everyone on the show. Now I'm going to send the link to a few people, and I'll have I'll bring you in and out at times. If you would like to jump on, share your thoughts with me. So please let me know. I'm happy to have everyone on because I think to me the excitement for this show is I'm sorry, I'm sending a bunch of links. Matt is here. All right, Matt, join me here. Matt, how you doing?
Doing all right. Can you hear me all right?
Yes, I can. One second. Let me switch my headset. So let me ask you, how did you enjoy the show?
I love this show. Holy cow. I've never seen so many near falls in one match.
Yeah.
I seriously think if Giulia went under the ring and pulled a gun out and shot Syuri in the chest, that Syuri would have kicked out at one. Um,
when she when Julia kicked out at one on the glorious driver, that's what I just leaped. I was like, oh man, this is special.
oh man, the match was so intense. It's funny, Tam Nakano's probably her biggest rival.
Mhm.
And it's fitting because Julia and Tam are kind of the same in that they're not the top shelf athletes that Syuri and
Right.
Utami are,
Mhm.
but just through sheer force of will, she kind of reminds me of CM Punk in that aspect. Like not a great athlete, but just sheer force of will has these great matches.
That's a that is a great comparison. And I know, people are sour on CM Punk now these days. But being able to create great matches despite not having, the crazy athleticism like an Osprey or Shuri, not having the insane just technical ability like, ZSJ and people like that. Just going in there and using everything in her power to tell a great story. I mean, it it's why I think Julia's so special. It's why we're so excited for this reign, right? It's why she has so many feuds, because she may be a little physical, a little extra physical with certain people. Um, how do you feel? Sorry, go ahead.
Well, she's willing to get the heat in and out, inside and outside the ring. That I don't think a lot of
Yeah,
the other wrestlers are really comfortable getting.
that's very true. And how who do you want to see Giulia face first?
I was thinking about that. I think right off the bat, the ones that come to my mind are Mayuki.
Mhm.
That one seems like that might be her first. I think Micah would be awesome.
Yeah,
And I have a question for you. I think Mayu should put her over. Do you think Mayu is gonna, Mayu, because they haven't have wanted her to lose the past few
yeah,
years? She's basically been out of the main event scene since she lost to Utami at the red belt. I mean, she's had like what,
yeah,
2 or 3 prominent single main event matches in the last 2 years.
yeah.
So I'm
She
curious if
has.
you think they would actually use her to put Julia over.
I think so. I think I think with the way they've told the story between Mayu and Julia is that Mayu, for the most part, has her number, but like with especially with the 5 stars, right? They've gone back and forth, and I remember last year, 5 stars, she beat her, and I think that is where Mayu's role is now. That if you can elevate a title reign, you use her to do that. They did it with Syuri, of course, on that second night, and that's the first person Julia named that she wants to defend the title against when I did that interview, and it seems like it's too good to be true. That's one of your biggest title defenses. I'm with you on Maya. I think that does feel like one of the first few, if not the first, maybe the second. Um, just based off how they're telling that story. Micah, of course, would be great. I'm interested to see, and this is the fun game now that we play moving forward. Who will beat Julia? I don't want her to be beaten anytime soon, but it's so wide open now, right? That it could be anyone. It could
I'm hope
actually be
I'm
anyone.
hoping Utami. I mean, she's my favorite, so I'm always rooting for Utami.
Yeah.
This has been a rough year for us Utami fans. I actually expected her to lose this match on this show,
Yeah,
so I was
I
kind of
did too.
pleasantly, for one time, I was pleasantly surprised for a draw.
Yeah, the last 6 months have been a lot better for Tommy, but a lot of losses. A lot of losses. And I think going with the 15, it allowed her not to take another big loss. Um, yeah, Tommy does feel like I think she's probably the early favorite to beat her. Um, if that makes sense, for sure. But yeah, I mean, I'm intrigued. How did you like the rest of the show? I mean, we could talk about this main event forever, but how did you like the rest of the show? Whether it be the Goddess match, High Speed, Kyrie to Tommy, does anything else jump out to you?
Oh man, I like the whole show.
Yeah.
The prominence thing surprised me, and I'm
Mhm.
not. I look into the future, and I don't really know who would even beat them. I mean, I don't think they'd go right back to the same Oedo Tai team.
Right.
So and the Triangle Derby is kind of interesting because it's virtually all new teams, at least on the Stardom side. It's kind of all teams that we haven't seen before.
Mhm.
So I don't know if they're going to build someone up for that.
Right.
The Saya Kamatani match, I like. I don't know. Some people don't like Saya Kamatani. I get it. She's
Oh, I
kind of
love
she's
Saya.
kind of wild. I love it. I love how wild and like
Yeah.
just yeah, just how hectic her matches are.
Right. I totally agree. Some people really don't like Saya, but I think her greatest attribute is that wildness. Um, and for me, I mean, she's probably losing to Mina, but I think her breaking the Momo record is a great choice. And then with the prominence part where you said I don't know who beats them, I trying to guess who's winning these trios belts has been a wonderful game for me because it's like until prominence finally challenged, nothing was too clear. Like we thought maybe the big QQ trio, that didn't happen. They went to a draw. So they're kind of playing it, and I think that's the interesting part is there's so much openness to this promotion. It's why It's why we love it so much, right? It's not predictable at all times, but when it is predictable, like the main event, it's perfect.
Someone I forgot for the red belt, who I think would be great, is Natsuko Tora.
Mm,
Since she has come back, I really think she should be considered for most improved. I have been like totally shocked at how awesome her matches have been.
yeah.
And they had their white belt match is like one of the worst title matches in Stardom history. And I
Yeah.
think they could have a great like
Titles.
redeeming red belt match.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think Tora would be great.
I think that'd be a
Uh,
great one to run back.
I got one last question for you.
Yeah.
2022's booking of like the top was a virtual mirror of 2021's.
Mm-hmm.
So you had the Cinderella winner lose or challenge for the white belt and lose both years, and the 5 star winner challenge for the red belt win on Dream Queendom.
Yep.
Do you think we'll see like a repeat next year with Utami winning the 5 star going to Dream Queendom, or you think they might switch it up next year?
I think they're. I think they need to switch it up next year because you don't want to fall into a pattern.
Right.
Um, Now with like the Cinderella, we're at a point here, right, where we've kind of perfectly set it up for the Cinderella winner to beat Saya this time around because she's held it long enough. We can get there. I don't know if that'll be the case, but I think that would be smart rather than changing the title right before. But with the 5 star, it's interesting because Dream Queendom is now like I know it's not their biggest show supposedly now, some say, but it's their annual show. So until we have another annual show, it's their biggest show. Um, and with that 5 star, you create a lot of excitement. I could see. I don't even know if and that's another thing, right? It's the year-long champions. Will Giulia hold it all the way to Stardom Dream Queendom and continue a year-long reign situation here, 3 straight? I don't know. But with the 5 star, I think if Giulia were to drop the title 6 months in to an Utami or Mayu, one of the top stars, I do think that there's a better chance the 5 star winner wins it than if it's Giulia because I just doing the same exact thing 3 years in a row would be bold to me. But
Right.
but Rossio is a bold guy. So what am I talking about? He doesn't care. That's
So
his thing.
true.
And I'm gonna be along for the ride each time. But like Suzu Suzuki winning or Utami winning that. And if it's still Giulia's champion, it's interesting. Though I don't know how long they can hold off on the Giulia Utami match either.
That's my that's the match I'm most looking forward to. But Scott, I just want to congratulate you. You had a great 2022, 5 star, best Joshi podcast, all the great interviews you had this year. I'm a big fan. I hope you do more call-in episodes of the 5 star. This is great.
That's the
Yeah,
plan,
thanks,
man.
man.
Thank you so much, man. I appreciate the kind words. There will be more call-ins, hopefully for all the big shows. Next time around when I do the Cinderella previews and so on and so forth, I will definitely include this part because it's a lot of fun. So thank you for coming on, Matt. I'm going to send you away, but I appreciate your support each and every time. All right. Next up, I've had widescreen waiting for a little bit, so I'm gonna bring in a few people here now. And we'll all talk. So widescreen, welcome.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, apologies for the wait. I'm also gonna bring
Oh,
in.
not a problem, not a problem.
I'm gonna do. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna do 4 people here because I've left Peps and Dylan waiting long enough. So we'll all have a little conversation here. It'll be a lot of fun. All right, boom,
All right, we're
boom.
gonna have
Lots of convo going on here. Welcome to the show, everybody.
What a crew.
hello.
What a crew. I don't know if you can hear me, but
I
what a
can
crew
hear you,
you got
Dylan.
here. Uh,
Yeah, I saw
I
all
can
3
hear
of you. I
you.
was like, you know what? This is good to just bring you all in at once. I think, or what I wanted to ask each and every single one of you is one, the first question will be, and we'll start with widescreen. We'll go Dylan, then Peps. One, um, how did you feel about the show overall? Does it rank as one of the better shows of Stardom's year? Did you not like some of it? Blah blah blah. And then give me your thoughts on the main event. So widescreen, you can go first.
I thought overall it's definitely one of the stronger shows of the year. Um, I think in the very Stardom, tradition, there were some WTF moments that you immediately forget about because all the matches are so good. Like, the Mina thing was weird, but then there's no time to think about that because
Right.
it's time to get into the 4 title matches and Kyrie versus Utami.
Oh, trust me, I thought about it a lot. And then the Haas fight happened, and I was like, all right, I don't care anymore. And then,
Yeah,
like you said,
yeah,
Kyrie
exactly.
and Utami happened. So, for sure. And the main event. What were your thoughts on the main event?
I really liked the main event. I just finished it about an hour ago.
Nice.
I really liked it. I don't know if it's definitive match of the year. I'll probably have to rewatch it, but lots of craziness. The spot off the ramp was insane.
Yeah, when it was one of those where it's like, oh, they're gonna fake it, then they're not gonna do it, and then and then they did it. And I was like, why did I tell them? All right, Dylan, thoughts on the show?
The show was weird. I'm gonna be real. I'm not scared to say it. The show was a weird show. I was one of the optimistic people about it.
Yeah.
About the card. I thought the card was pretty decent, and I didn't like in hindsight. It wasn't a bad card by any means. I wouldn't put it up there necessarily. I think they had the Nagaoka show with Azumi and Kid, and Natsuko and Saya. That was really good, and the 5-star final. I think those were both better.
Yeah.
But this was a weird show, and that's like you kind of look at like a lot of the pairings were kind of strange. The way that they did the entire Mina thing. I know it's like a big hot topic, but it's like she feels like this like strange entity returning, but then she just gets
Yeah.
beat up the entire match, and I was like, that's not what I would have expected out of and that was weird. Um, but I thought the show was overall pretty fun.
Mhm.
I was sick, and I still am sick, so I was kind of miserable at 6 a.m. watching it. But it did make me a little bit happier because it was a good show overall.
Yeah.
Just a strange one with a lot of the decisions, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, we got 2 new outsider champions. Now, Prominence, I felt like it was a lock, but
Yeah,
it's definitely the 7-Up one got me. Not that I'm upset. Again, I think they've been fantastic, so I'm not like upset, but it definitely was shocking. I think weird's a good way to explain it. I think I'm with you with the 5-star final night being the best show probably this year from them, but it's definitely it's a higher pay-per-view than a lower pay-per-view, if that makes sense.
oh for sure.
Which again with your year-end show, that's what you go for, right? And your thoughts on the main event?
Yeah. So first, the you thing was
Oh yeah,
was the biggest pop of the night for me because
when
I
she
did not
threw
expect it.
Natsupoi through the mat.
Yeah, I was like, "Oh," because the thing was, and I know I'll get to the main event in a minute. I feel like
Yeah, it's fine.
we talk about the main event enough, but I will get to it. Um, the thing was that like you was in the ring for a long time, and I was like, "They're not pinning you.
Right,
Like that's not happening. She hasn't been beaten at all this entire
exactly.
time in the company." And then she like got her up, and I was like, "Oh." And then she slammed her, and then Daichi just looked at a dead body for like 3 seconds and then counted. I was like, she just killed her. And I just like popped. I like jumped out of my seat. It was crazy. Um, yeah, definitely the biggest pop of the night because it was unexpected. As for the main event, I was a big fan. Um, Initially, I wasn't as big of a fan as everybody else. I still believe that their match earlier this year was a bit better.
Okay.
Um, but I will say that like I went to bed last night and I was like, damn, that closing stretch was incredible. And then
Yeah,
I woke up this morning still thinking of it. And I was like,
yeah,
okay, this is better than I maybe gave it credit for initially.
yeah,
Cause like that was definitely like that doesn't happen where I just like go to bed and I wake up thinking about the same exact
sure.
and um obviously there are small things that I am very weird about in matches that maybe I wasn't the biggest fan about the main event, but overall I definitely understand why people have it as their match of the year. I think it was a really great match. It was great. Uh my favorite part was obviously the Micah and Himeka shouts out and the Hana
Yeah,
shouts out. That was all beautifully done. I'm a big moves guy, so that really
yeah,
hit. I was like, hey, she's doing it. I was huge. I was really happy with that. Um, and yeah, I really like the main event. Still would probably have it probably top 10, maybe
yeah.
not,
I think
like
that's
as high
fitting
as other people.
for a lot of
But
people.
yeah, I mean like Shuri and Julia are the only two people to have two top 10 matches of the year for me. Same year. That's kind of incredible.
They're pretty special, huh? For me, I think the best comparison is like with what they did, they kind of followed the Shuri Utami route of having the first match and then having the second match. And I think this time around it's closer to me than the last time because I didn't think the second match was anywhere close to the first match for
Yeah.
Utami and Syuri. But at least this one is either better or closer. At least that's how I felt. And I think that's, they killed it. All right, Peps, how do you feel about the show overall? It's Peps here. Peps. All right. Well, Peps, if you're back, just shoot me a message. I'm going to mute you for now. Bring Dylan and Widescreen back in, and I'm going to bring in. Peps is back. There we go.
Okay.
There we go.
Oh, fuck off.
There we go. Hello,
I had
Peps.
turned my mic off. I thought this show was really good. Like, I didn't expect as much as of it because the call was kind of, not the best.
You had
one.
Umasaki in it. What are you talking about? That was literally booked for you.
Yeah, but I'm like a big Umasaki fan, and I know what she can do, but she's really unproven in like big singles matches. And you saw that instantly. She was really nervous at the beginning. They botched a few spots, and it needed some time to get her on the level that she is. And when she like started to stiff Saya with the elbows, it got really good, and then it was over before it like got into the next level.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I mean, the matches you expected delivered. And of course, we had the Mina thing.
Sure did.
I mean, it was there. I think Mina needs to prove now that she deserves to get that push that she's likely getting. Otherwise, it looks bad for her. And yeah, the main event. I mean, what can I say? That was really fantastic. Giulia and Syuri topped their match from March. I wasn't a big fan of their match in March, so and especially not the one from 2020. So this one was really this one was done really, really good. I mean, they did Mike moves, so what can I say?
That's true. Once they did the mic move, they're like, all right, Peps is all in on this one. All right, so I will go around one more time because I do have, I want to keep funneling in and out, but give me your maybe not second favorite. What's your other favorite match on the show? Because I think a lot of people are going to say the main event, but I think we had such a great show here that there's at least 3 or 4 matches you can pick from. So Widescreen, hit me. What was your second or first favorite match of the show? What is your other non-main event favorite match?
I am gonna go ahead and shout out the opener. Not the Battle Royal.
Rumble. The Rumble doesn't count.
No, I'm gonna shout out Azumi versus Shimizu. I thought it's probably the second best defense she's had besides May.
Right. You said May, and I thought of the month of May, and I was like, all right.
Well, I think that also happened. No, that was April. But I really just can't wait for that kid match. That's going to be awesome. I wasn't expecting them to go back to the well, but really, really happy they did.
Yeah, I'm always welcoming that rematch because I did love that first one. I think they'll be able to do a lot different because them getting that semi-main event spot again, that's purposeful. Right.
Just as an added question, does anybody know if the 8th show is live or is it?
I think it's live.
Okay. I think it is.
I think actually like
is it Eddie Osaka Arena? Where is it?
Nagoya.
No, it's the Nagoya venue they had Fight in the Top in.
Yeah, that'll be live.
Okay.
I'm sure that'll be live.
I think that the schedule of Samurai TV said that the first 3 January shows are all live.
Oh,
okay.
Damn. All right.
A lot of live stuff.
Yeah, I think that's definitely the big ticket for that show. Ami, I mean, it's a B tier defense for Saya.
I rather the high speed match main event, but whatever.
Yeah, I would too. Honestly.
I'm not gonna.
I feel like that would make sense. I feel like that was the plan. I remember last year they did the fan vote because they assumed that Kid and Azumi might have more pull than the Not to Play Saya match, and it didn't.
Well,
but
Well,
I think
they
they might
definitely
wanna
have
run
more
that back
pull
for
than
that.
this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Um,
Um,
Dylan, second favorite, first favorite, whatever, non-main event favorite.
Yeah, so I also want to give a shout out to the opening match, super strong Stardom Machine. Big fan, Different opening match, I know. But no, really, I think it was the tag match. I think the tag match was the second best. I remember early on, it was Nanai and Poi, and I was like, oh, I'm not really crazy about this. I feel like it's a bit like heavy-handed. And then like after like maybe like
Flop.
3 or 4 minutes in, it just didn't stop, right? And it just like went from there, and it was a really good match. My
Passion.
Pat, exactly. You get it. But no, my one little take that I wanted to mention is that I think the Wonder Belt is in a very interesting space, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to talk a little bit more about this on Stardom Quest, which is coming out soon. Plug.
Did you record it
Um,
today?
No, we're recording tomorrow, I think.
Oh.
But I think the Wonder Belt recently has really been on par, right? Because Sai has been overperforming every single opportunity she gets. It feels like anytime that she isn't, it isn't really her fault. Like it's usually like a miscommunication of some sort, and she's just been really, really overperforming. But I think with Giulia winning the red belt and Saya's potential dethroners, not being obviously there's a lot of them, but like I'm kind of looking at it as like, okay, it's Mina, it is Kid, it is maybe Mirai. Those are kind of the ones that I'm seeing.
I'm in agreement.
And for me, I think a Mina white belt reign would get absolutely drowned out by a Giulia red belt reign.
Yeah.
Whereas
it
like
sure would.
Shuri and Saya competed. You know what I mean? Like every
they did.
show they were neck and neck really. Like, you know, like some shows Shuri had the better showing, sometimes Saya had the better showing. I would say even the Tam and Utami to some degree. I wasn't a big fan of the Tam reign, but you could still have that argument of like Tam and Utami, you know, have that. I don't think Mina can do that.
No.
And I know I am lower on Kid than most people, but I also kind of fear that Kid can't really do that right now with Giulia being Giulia, right?
Yeah.
And that trajectory of the white belt is concerning for me because I'm just like, there's no way that like I was talking to my friend and he was like, I feel like the Saya reigns run its course, and I'm just like, but the alternatives are putting Starlight Kid or Mina up against Giulia every single show, and that's not gonna always do so well.
Yeah. I want to say something to that. I feel like you can't really put anyone. I mean, if you want to put someone who can compete with Juliet, then it's Utami.
I feel like
From
Mirai
the ones that make sense.
I feel like Mirai can do something different that maybe doesn't like, you know, stack up and surpass Julia at any point, but I think she could definitely provide something that's like a bit more hard hit. Well, I guess Julia is very hard hitting, but a bit more power based.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
And the thing with Kid for me is Kid has a very good chance to be challenging Giulia, not winning, but challenging because of their history. So I wouldn't be against if they held off just a little longer with her, because I think they do want to showcase her reign a bit more. And doing that with Giulia is like asking a lot, right? Like you said, I think that's a good point. And Mina, she get drowned. I do like your idea with Micah. Not Micah. Sorry.
Oh, I mean, if you want to give it to Micah, I'll give it to Micah. I'm cool. I'm cool with that.
I think Mirai. I do think Mirai and Micah kind of are in that same boat. Of it would be different because of how they wrestle compared to Giulia.
Yeah,
like it's a more power based, different type of match. Sorry. I was about to ask Peps what his favorite match was, and Micah just happened to pop in my mind. But I am in agreement that it's going to be interesting to see how they work around it, how long the Giulia reign is, because obviously Saya's reign isn't going to go forever. But good points to raise. And Peps, what was your favorite non-main event match of the night?
I mean, I could shout out the same as the other two did, because both of them were like really great matches. I could talk again about the Umizaki match, but I felt like the finishing stretch was a bit too short. So I'm going with the Artists of Stardom title match, just for the fact that Saki Kashima took bumps that I've never seen her doing before. I mean, I don't know, like she doesn't take many bumps, and when she does, she like absolutely nearly dies. And Obviously the prominence, the three prominence girls are like they're like crazy in hardcore matches. I
Yeah.
don't think that Kurumi did like anything notable. She's
No,
just there
she's just a
because
good
she's
person
just there
to
to
have.
fill out stuff. That was mainly a Suzuki show, like always. I mean, her interactions with Starlight are like
Yeah.
fantastic.
Mhm.
And I've tweeted it out. She's a once in a generation talent. I think she will definitely be one of the best, if not the best wrestler in the world. In like,
Yeah.
not female but male and female.
Mm-hmm.
And
I agree.
I really hope that she gets to the top, even in Stardom, even if she's still signed with prominence.
Yeah,
Um,
I agree.
Otherwise, I love that Risa Sera gets more blue to her gear. The blue title fits perfectly to her gear and everything she does.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Yes, and my only hope is that she just comes out to the Wave show with the blue belt. It would be hilarious if she stands like next to Shida with the belt. I would celebrate and would call it match of the year already. That would be my like. I mean, we all know that Shida is not really doesn't speak highly of Stardom, so it would be kind of funny.
It would be. I sat and I watched. So I watched this show and I walked away from two matches saying they might be the best in the world. That was with Utami and that was with Suzuki. And that match, I'm gonna need that match. Let me just say that I'm gonna need that match within the
That
next
hasn't
like
happened. Yeah, that's a big boy. That's a big boy right there.
that feels like one you protect for a little
Yeah.
bit. Because Stardom's went through a lot of big matches, but they've protected a lot too. And Utami versus Giulia is obviously the next big one that I'm sure they'll be going through, but the Utami Suzu one. All right, I'll go through one more time. Any final thoughts on the show before I let you guys go? Widescreen, hit me.
I'm thinking. Overall, I think it's an intriguing start, sort of, to this Stardom year, because this is kind of the end point for this year, right? Or the beginning the next year.
Much like a Wrestle Kingdom, yeah.
Yeah, there are some things that are concerning, but there's promise. Also, my kind of fears that they were plateauing a little bit in growth were obviously greatly exaggerated because they crushed that number.
Yeah, almost getting to 4K. That was very eye popping.
So that's good for them, especially with the white belt match that it did. And also I'll just shout out Umasaki. It wasn't as good as a lot of other Saya matches, but she didn't really shrink in the spotlight, and that's really what you can ask for somebody that young who wrestled in friggin' Diana in front of however many people, making the jump to almost 4K in Sumo Hall.
So disrespectful. How dare you disrespect Kyoko?
Well, you don't even. No, right. Sorry, Alex doesn't like Kyoko. All right, Widescreen, we'll let you go. Thank you for coming on, Dylan. What's your final thoughts here?
Yeah, I mean, Stardom is a bizarre company, and I will always hold that sentiment. Sometimes they're very bad at things, and I maintain that. I think there are certain things on the show that were very, whether I didn't like them or I just thought they were very strangely done and could have been done in better ways. I feel like that's always kind of the case, and that's why I have a lot of comments on it. But I think overall it was a really fun show. I'm excited to see where it goes next year, though obviously I have my fears. And I want to reiterate the sentiment from Widescreen is that it's like I feel like Haruka was put into a match against, and I mean this in the best way possible, against the Spot Monkey, and she doesn't have spots. And that's like that doesn't work, right? Like Haruka does like 6 moves realistically. And Saya does literally every move you will ever see ever. And it's like that does not mesh, like it shouldn't. So they performed way better in the best way. Ray Phoenix is a spot monkey. Ray Phoenix is one of the best male wrestlers in the world. You know what I mean?
That's true.
But like that shouldn't work. Is the Haruka Saya match, and it worked way better than I guess I thought it was going to be good, but I also didn't really see that. I was like, oh yeah, I forgot that Ruka doesn't really do like big moves. Like she is very very fundamental, right?
Yeah.
And I think she performed very well for that. Otherwise, yeah, it was a really good show. Um, I was happy with it. I enjoyed it. And this Triangle Derby is going to be strange because I feel like I'm like ready for everything else to happen, and it's like, nah, you getting Mina and 2 Brits against
Hey,
Waka.
you get Maya though.
Yeah, that's true. I'm excited for Rebel Enemy.
Try
And
and make up
Prominence.
for the
And Prominence.
yeah.
I'm excited for some of
Promise
the
we
stuff,
get.
but it's gonna be an interesting couple months as somebody who watches this stuff religiously. So
Right there with you, Buckaroo. Well, before I let you go, do you guys think they could hit 5,000 plus for the big show in April? I have to think that's the goal.
that's gonna be
They're gonna
tough.
pack it. They're gonna pack it. I think if they do Giulia and Utami, they do in fact get Sasha Banks. They're going for it. That's definitely the goal.
I don't know if they've downsized in recent years, but I'm pretty sure Yokohama is like a 15,000 capacity or something like that. So that's
Yeah,
the
yeah.
like it's I worry, especially considering Stardom has been very very against cheering. I worry about the atmosphere because a 15,000 seat arena, if not more, I'm pretty sure that's just what they got for Dream Slam. I don't even know if that's actually the capacity.
Sure.
But that is going to be very bad if they can only get 3,500 people in there. Not saying they will. I think they could probably do around 5,000, but it's not going to sound great if they get too low of a number. So I'm hopeful, but
if they do cheering at that show, I do think it'll change it no matter what, obviously. I hope that's what the goal is have cheering by that show for this company, but I'm not going to try guessing anymore.
Yeah.
All right, Dylan, I'm going to let you go. And Peps, thank you for coming on, Dylan. Of course, love chatting with you. All right, well, Peps, what are your final thoughts here on the show? And you can even say All Star Grand Queendom. What are you feeling?
I mean, I don't like some of the direction they took. I mean, it's like the same with the FWC reign, where like Mahima gets the first shot again, and they will like clearly lose.
Yeah,
That's like or I don't know, like the direction they go. Yeah, that like hurts because they definitely deserve a longer title reign, and I think it will happen. I mean, they but it's not gonna happen in the first defense of you and
right
Takeshi.
Yeah.
Same for the Wonder Belt. I mean, it's the defense tying record for Saya, and they give her the future of Stardom champion that's like unproven in any singles matches, and their 5-star match was horrible. Not it's like on that side it's like on the other side, in a triangle derby we have Umizaki and Maika facing off against each other.
You're really living.
Yeah, they it's their third match against each other. It's like the first time it actually gets aired.
It's actually just called the Peps match, I hear.
It's just for me. But otherwise, I mean, the Triangle League, it's gonna be. I hope the winner gets shot for the Idols belts.
I would be very confused if they didn't.
Because as of right now, it's not official.
Yeah, I know. I think they will.
And yeah, otherwise, I mean, with Giulia, you have like 25 different challengers alone in the roster that can challenge, and then like 5 more outsiders that totally makes sense. So that will be fantastic. And for All Star Queendom, I mean, obviously the current rumor says that Sasha's gonna wrestle there. I'm really waiting till she even appears. I hope she does. I think she does, but I'm like doubting myself a bit here. Will they do 5K? I mean, Noah and New Japan did like 7K last year with Keiji Muto in the main event, facing Tanahashi and Okada. So I don't know if they will do like 5K. I hope they crack 4K. I think that would be good, especially if they go for like a big singles match like Utami Giulia. And obviously, whoever gets Sasha, I hope it's Mayu. I don't know if it is, because you never know what they plan with the IWGP title. Yeah, and I hope Mike has a big match there.
Of course, I think it's safe to say that we will have a major Giulia match, whether it's Utami or they run
Or
back
Mayu.
something, or Mayu. Yeah. So I think that's safe to say. I think it's safe to say that we'll have a big Kyrie match, whether that be with the IWGP title or not. We'll have the big Wonder match. I'm not going to say it's safe to say on Sasha yet, but I'm very confident it's going to happen. But yeah, and I think I just read that this was their biggest non-historic crossover attendance for Stardom, so their biggest lone show attendance. So that's pretty good to head into the new year, if I'm not mistaken. I think this did beat the Aikawa retirement show, but I could be wrong.
I think it was a 3.7. So
yeah, so this was 3.8. So yeah, it would beat it, which is awesome. That's a hell of a way to close it. All right, well, I'm with you on all that. I think the excitement going into that final show is or not final show, but that big April show that's going to lead us there. Triangle Derby. Yeah, if we don't have the winner challenging prominence, then I don't know what the point of the tournament is. But I'm with you there, and I hope for you that Mike and Umasaki squaring off for the first time ever is everything you ever dreamt of. Peps.
I have one last thing to say. I think the most interesting year in 2023 is gonna have or is Hazuki, just for the fact we don't know yet how high Rossi sees her. I mean, like, how can I say it in a nice way? I mean, she was gone like several times since she debuted, with like coming back the last time in 2021. So we don't know if they're like, if there's like that much trust of Sonny, if she's like not retiring randomly again. I mean, it's Joshi wrestling. So I think, and since coming back, she had the one Utami match, and then she was like straight up tag division and did nothing since singles wise. I mean, besides the one Cinderella's semifinals run, but I mean, Unagi got that in her rookie year.
That's
so I don't think it means that much. I think it's going to be interesting if they push her in 2023, because there's like definitely opportunities now for her.
Yeah.
If not, I mean, there's a good chance she's never holding the belt, any of the belts. I think 2023 is either going to be make or break for Hazuki.
Yeah, it's scary. I think Hazuki's kind of gotten forgotten all of a sudden by a lot of people. But I am hopeful that it is make for her. She's ready to go, and we don't want to lose her again, right? We don't want to lose her again. But all right, Peps, thank you for coming on. I know it's late where you are, so get a good night's sleep. Thank you for taking the time out of your day.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
All right, sweet. All right, so that's Peps, and now I'm gonna probably have James on in a few minutes, but I will have 6 Star on for the show, the debut. 6 Star, how are you?
Oh, I'm feeling great. I'm feeling terrific. This is quite possibly the most ambitious and greatest crossover in the history of everything, to be honest. Like not just Joshi podcasting, not just podcasting in general. Like this is genuine cinema. I saw that Avatar Way of Water is crossing 1 billion. Unfortunately for them, we will be hitting $2 billion in super chats today. That's just the power of the six zone nation. But all jokes aside, I'm so happy to be here. Scott and I have talked about this for a long time. I've been a huge vocal supporter and fan of the 5 Star Joshi Show for months. Shout out Parker for putting me onto it. I only got about 2 hours of sleep, but I've never felt more energetic than I do right now. That show was absolutely tremendous. But really quick, before we get into anything else, there's one big thing going out of the show that I know everyone's been talking about, and I know everyone's been waiting to hear about, and that is that Rossi Ogawa is a fraud. and that he is cooked. His legacy is done. It's over. Because he took the belts off of quite literally the greatest tag team, not of a generation, not of the year, but of all time. He took a belt off of Natsupoi, and for that, I'll never forgive him. Rossi Ogawa, what are you doing, my man? You had it in your hands, and you fumbled. This is not Booker of the Year material, Rossi. Oh my lord. Anyways,
Oh man,
how are you doing, Scott?
I'm doing great. I'm so happy to have you.
Oh.
Well, I don't know how I top all that. Well, this is the 6-star Joshi show now. That's how this goes, of course. James is throwing tomatoes at you, and I'll have him join soon. But man, I'm so happy to have you on. There's so much to go through with this show, of course, right? And it was a special show. Even if Meltier lost, right? We've seen the top bookers of the year fumble a bag or two here and there, right? TK's been very good at that recently.
This is true.
So,
I can't lie.
Yeah. So, Rossi's just trying to bring it closer, right? He's just trying to. He felt bad. The gap was getting too big, and he's like, you know what? I need Meltier to drop the belts. I need to shake it up. But then he said, I'm gonna give Giulia the belt. So
and he gave Suzuki and Risa Serra Stardom belts, a Prominence one, the artist belts. That's
he fumbled a bag, but not the full bag, right?
Yeah,
we got a lot of stuff. We got a lot of love for you on here, by the way.
He arguably fumbled the biggest bag though. Like all jokes aside, I mean, I know we'll get into the match itself more later, but like, Meltier, like, didn't they just announce that they're releasing like an album?
Double Frontier released today.
Yeah, Double Frontier. It's a shame it's only on Apple Music and being only in Japan. Heartbreaking.
Oh man, people are coming for Natsupoi in the comments. They're welcoming you, but they're coming from Natsupoi.
So for everyone coming for Natsupoi, cry, cope, and seethe, because she is one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. She's top 5 alive right now, no matter the gender. No matter the promotion, top 10 dead or alive. I'm not going to hold you. She is on fire and untouchable, and also perfect in every single way. I don't know what else to say.
Oh man! All right. Well, oh man, that's tough. This is a tough one. That was a good one. I'm gonna hold James out for a few more minutes, just because I think it's gonna become a war zone in here. I'm just gonna have to run away. I might take myself off the show and just let you guys go. But let's talk a little bit about it here. We're not gonna go match after match because I did that for an hour. I don't want to do that again. But what I do want to do is before we get to Meltier, of course, give me what was your favorite match before the Meltier tag team match?
Oh, that's really hard. I think it's got to be the Oedo Tai Prominence match. Oh my god. I mean, from the entrance, from the beginning, it felt electric, and that's. I mean, I'm just a big fan of all the people involved, but something about after when Oedo Tai came in and SLK was on the bike, I popped so hard. I was screaming. I was like, I see Poi come out and I'm already standing, like I'm already like pacing in place, like, oh, this match this is 5 stars right off the bat, and that I think that match was so beautifully chaotic. I think, which is best encapsulated at the end with the chair tower building spot not being caught on camera. That was hilarious, but perfect to me. And obviously Suzuki getting the win, Suzuki holding a title belt in Stardom. I did shed a tear. Suzuki is going places. She is absolutely phenomenal, and that is just undeniable. Oh Lord,
it is undeniable. It's with Suzu, it's like it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when with her, right? And I think that's kind of how I feel about her Stardom career moving forward. Is I feel like she's gonna hit every belt as long as she's around, because she's that good. But getting this first one does feel like that first time of like just locking her in a little bit, like, all right, we're here, right? And doing it in the trio, it's like, well, we know who the star is. We watched that match, right? Once she tagged in, who else was there, right? Starlight Kid was there, but it was like, this is the Suzuki show. That's what it became. She killed poor Saki. She destroyed Starlight Kid within an inch of her life. She then, of course, won the match for them in the end with the double suplex. I forget what they call it. Locomotive suplexes. I think that's what they call it. But she just, the moment she tagged in, it just went psychotic in the best ways possible. And I think that's why she's so special. And that whenever she gets that next Giulia match, just chalk it up match of the year, right?
I was literally about to say the exact same thing, like word for word. Suzuki is a special talent, a once in a generation kind of talent, and that Giulia rematch, that is going to be beautiful, masterful, cinematic violence. I am here for every single second of it. That will just about chalk up Rossi Ogawa's Booker of the Year 2023, alongside with Poi's inevitable white belt run, but that's neither here nor there.
Oh, it's coming. It's just a matter of when. So, okay.
I mean, really quickly, I think that's a lot. Stardom 2022, as great as a year 2022 and 2021 were for them, 2022 really did feel like, while it was achieving this grand climax, this grand year, it also felt like a building block year for them. We're seeing like with the rise to prominence of Suzuki and Natsupoi, it's like, wow, and SLK becoming even more popular. It's like, wow, you really have I'm forgetting even Mike. There's just so much talent that is going so many places, and I'm so excited for the direction in 2023 and even 2024 and beyond, because I know that there is so much potential for this brand going forward. And with Mercedes coming in, and elevating it worldwide, Stardom in the 2020s, wrestling in the 2020s is special. It is a special time.
Yeah, the fun game I play, right, is to tell me if a company did well in a year is, are they leaving the year better than they came in? Stardom came in red hot. They came into the year red hot. They had all this stuff going great for them, and then they brought in outside talent, and that changed the game all the more. And now they're leaving 2022 with New Japan eyes on them with the IWGP Women's title, which we had no clue that was going to be a real thing. We have the historic crossover show to go with that. We have Suzuki as part of this group, Risa Sera, Haruka Umasaki, Maya Kihi's now going to wrestle on it. There's so many. I'm not going to list every outsider that they have. Nanai, plus the roster who, we have every belt has like 5 possible next champions, right? And I think that's how you really can tell that this was everything you'd hoped it would be for Stardom this year. And we'll get to the melt tier match in 1 second. But was there any point that you guys thought Syuri was going to win? There was one near fall I bit on really hard. I thought they were seriously going to hold up. I did too. When Syuri hit her, I call it the one-winged Ryuin because I always forget the name of it. When she hit that, I died a little inside. I sunk into my chair, and then the moment Giulia kicked out, I leaped out of my chair because one, we've never seen it kicked out of. That was her super finisher. That wasn't getting kicked out of. But what I love so much about this match is, and some people don't like excessive kickouts, but the reason I loved the way they did the kickouts is because it became desperation kickouts. Syuri did not want to lose this title. This title meant everything to her. She was going to kick out until she got dropped on her neck, right? Until that glorious Northern Lights bomb ended her once and for all. And I think that's why this match for me got to the level it did. Now, before 6 Star, you talk about this match, because we're going to talk about this match. Meltier versus 7-Up. So you got to talk about it. I know. Heartbreak. We were messaging throughout the show. throughout the show, and then when the match ended, it was like the two feelings you have, right? Is wow, that was a phenomenal match, but more so, as you respectfully said, Rossi the fraud, Rossi fumbled the bag, blah, 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 right? That's where you went with this. And Meltier losing and Natsupoi getting slammed down through the mat. And I think there was a perfect point here, right? Where, Dylan pointed out earlier, where Daichi, the referee, kind of just watched and looked as you was pinning and like, all right, here we go. 1, 2, 3. And it's like, that's what Meltier's been created to do, is bring that emotional factor, right? They're so good at that. I think Natsupoi at times is better than Tam at that. Sorry, people. It's just the truth.
I know. I don't know what you're apologizing for. You're spitting facts right now.
But to me, this was the second best match tonight. I thought Nanai and you were the perfect outsiders to crush Meltier, though I want Meltier's reign to go on for another couple months at least. So it's both. I loved it, but I'm also devastated by it. I know you're devastated.
I mean, like I said at the very beginning, all jokes aside, I gotta give 7 up their flowers. This match was tremendous. Like I know that you talked about it earlier. There was a few minutes at the beginning where it's like, okay, but like they're kind of feeling it out, but then after those 4 minutes, it was just non-stop brilliance. It's insane to think just the strength and the depth of the tag division that Stardom has, especially after bringing in all these outsiders. And I mean, what can't be said about Meltier? Well, what can't be said about Meltier is that they're a bad team. They're one of the greatest things I've ever personally been able to witness in my wrestling fandom. And if more than anything else, outside of just being two great talents who work really well together, who have this insane chemistry within the tag team itself and with the other tag teams they face, but they make you feel things. And Poi just brought it out. Like this was a 6-star performance from Poi.
I thought it was her best single in-match performance, from start to finish. The desperation, the fight, I think she brought this match from here to here, and it helps to have the two big opponents to really take it to her. But yeah,
yeah.
Let me ask you a question: Meltier or the Elite?
Why we gotta put two baddies against one another? Anyways, Meltier. I'm sorry. I love the Elite. I am a huge Elite mark. This is not known. I'm an AEW freakazoid, as some may put it, but my users is 6 Stardom. My header is Meltier right on my Twitter right now.
Yeah, it's true.
I think more than any other wrestler, I have tweets about Natsupoi on my Twitter.
Oh, you sure do.
I mean, all of my own personal bias aside, I really, that match was it's crazy. That main event was beautiful. And we will get to it, but the fact that this is my second favorite match on the card is no slight against the tag match. It was brilliant. I'm still astonished. I was genuinely heartbroken at the end. And I think, as awful as it is that Meltier has lost the titles, that is a credit to their strength as a tag team, and a credit to the performances that they've given throughout their reign, a credit to the performance of Natsupoi, who really, you get behind her. More than anything else, you get behind her. You want her to hit those big moves. You want her to get that big finish. You want her to win, especially because we've seen the year that Natsupoi and that Tam have both gone through, and the way that the both of them have elevated each other, and how they have reignited their love and their passion for professional wrestling through their rivalry and through their tag team. and seeing them lose those belts, it's just heart shattering. But I am so excited for that match. The Mahime and 7-Up match is going to be terrific.
Yeah.
Rest in peace to Micah fans who want her to win a belt, because she is not going to win the tag belts quite yet. I wouldn't have a problem with them dethroning 7-Up in the future, but it's just not going to happen quite yet.
No. All right, so it's Warzone time. I'm welcoming James in, who
Hello.
has had. Hello, James. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing good. So I wanted to ask you, how did you like the tag match?
Well, it was a good match. It had the right winners, but I think that Meltier did not deserve the titles yet.
Wow.
I don't think you deserve a spot on this podcast.
All right. Anyways, we're all joking here. We're all having fun. So James, I mostly wanted to talk with you on this, and 6-Star we'll talk about it too with the main event. Because you, I think, perfectly tweeted how this match came together for Giulia especially. So let's talk about it. James, I'll start with you. What were your overall thoughts on the main event?
It was fantastic. I think it's better than all the Utami and Syuri matches by far.
On
Because
an emotional level, I think I have to agree.
I think with the match itself, the way they fight, I was more invested in it because the story has been going on since basically Juliet's debut.
No.
It was all building up to this. Whereas with like Utami and Syuri, it kind of just starts and they build on from that match. But because Julia's story starts from all the way back, I had so much investment in it that it mattered to me so much that Giulia wins.
I think it's really well said. I think you really hit the nail on the head there, especially with the part of how this was a full-on story and what these two did, and credit to Syuri for being in both, obviously, and what she's been able to do. And I will ask you, when it comes to this match, where do you have like a ranking of where it is in Stardom history for you?
God, no. That's
High?
really hard.
Can we just go with high? It's
I
up
would
there.
say pretty high.
Yeah, I think that's best. I would never ask you to rank them because I could never do that.
That's kind of cheating because my favorite match is not like a big match at all.
Right.
It happens on a random 5-star show in 2017.
And I think truthfully, that's kind of what Stardom does for a lot of people, right? Is that it brings everyone together, whether it's a random house show here or the biggest show they have. So I definitely wouldn't ask you to do that, but 6-Star, how did you feel about this main event? And where Giulia and Syuri were willing to go to make it what it was.
I've said it a lot today. I shouldn't say tonight. It's like 3:00 for me. I've said it a lot in this stream. I should probably pick up a dictionary, but all jokes aside, this match was special.
Yeah, it really was.
I have said it loud and proud multiple times since I watched it that this is one of the greatest matches I have ever seen. Not just Stardom, across any promotion. There was an atmosphere for it, like watching it from the room that I'm hearing, that I haven't felt from just about any other match in a long time. And unlike what would have been match of the year, it had the right winner. But out beyond my own pettiness aside, just to talk about this match, not just as a vacuum.
We're not talking Mayu and KAIRI. Not happening.
I'm not thinking about that right now. Because I think a lot of time. I mean, obviously, Giulia deserves her flowers and she deserves this moment. But I think more has to be said about Syuri's performance in this match.
Definitely.
Especially like you were talking about it earlier. Those kickouts, they had an urgency to them. They had a legitimacy to them that I haven't felt. I haven't felt that someone truly wanted to not lose a match, not lose a title the way Syuri did in this performance. And it gripped me. I can't put into words that feeling I had when Syuri finally took the glorious Northern Lights bomb and got three, and Giulia got the 3 count.
Yeah.
Because it genuinely felt like this match was never going to end in the best way possible, because both the performers gave their everything. And that last strike exchange before that Northern Lights bomb was one of my favorite spots of the night. Just them drained and tired. No fancy counters, nothing crazy, just hitting each other with raw, pure force and emotion, because neither of them wanted to lose and both of them wanted to continue to climb. And that match, that spot after the match with Giulia getting the belt put on her and Syuri raising the hand, and I'm gonna start tearing up again. It was such a beautiful match, and I said it in the comments earlier. The spots with honoring Hana Kimura was for me probably the spot of the year, just on an emotional level.
Yeah.
To see someone.
Giulia did that last year too for me with Konami. So
yeah, Giulia is tremendous. I agree with James that this match is absolutely clears the Utami Syuri matches, which is no disrespect to the Utami Syuri series. They were great matches, but this match, I'm in awe of it. I messaged Scott right over like I can't sleep after this. Like, I am wide awake.
I have not slept since or before the show.
God. Wow. That's I slept 3 hours personally, but I think what you got, what you both said, really emphatically says a lot about what Stardom is as a promotion more than anything. I don't know how many times I ever feel this way watching other wrestling. I watch everything, right? I watch every promotion. It's very rare that I walk away from a match feeling this emotionally locked in, this emotionally drained in a good way. And like the post match was as good as the match. That doesn't happen, right? Like, people will talk about their matches of the year for the next 7 to 14 days, right? That's what they're going to do because we're here at the end of the year. And I had some people say to me, don't go off recency bias. Is this really your match of the year? I said, it's not even a question. Because I haven't had this. I had this emotional connection to one other match this year, and I didn't get the result I wanted in that match. I got it here, and it's just a different feeling, right? I think you both nailed it. I'm happy to have you both on here to talk about it because, listen, I can only say so much. I talk every single week. It's better to hear the sides of those on Twitter. James, of course, writes for Monthly Puroresu, and I think you both topped it perfectly. That Hana moment, it's an emotional one for many.
I can't really put it into words.
Yeah,
but I did write a section on my Substack about the match.
Yes,
which will be coming out soon.
Everyone,
which puts
please,
it way better than I can right now.
Everyone, please go check that out. I talked to James when it happened. We talked about it and how just the emotions fill you, and the emotions fill me moments and moments in that match. But that's when there's something that Giulia does, right, in the way she pays tribute to Hana, that you just appreciate more and more she does, because she doesn't have to, right? And she does it so elegantly and perfectly in the match that it fits perfectly. And for the, it's one of those moments that it's like when the DDM moments happen, you're like, oh, let's go. when the Honda moment, you just sat there and you just were like, as Six Star said, this is special. This is special.
I have a comparison that I can make here that Six Star might appreciate.
Hit me with it.
Okay. So my emotional investment of Giulia's story in this match, just all together, it reminded me of when I first watched Kenny Omega's G1 run in 2016.
And
I bring that up in my writing as well.
Oh, well, I'm excited to read that. That's such a good. Oh, that's a tremendous comparison. Oh my god.
Because at the start, I didn't really know Kenny. I got into New Japan because of AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura because I was a big TNA fan. So I came into New Japan through AJ Styles. And then AJ Styles gets chucked out and replaced with Kenny Omega. So then I'm like, who is this? And slowly, throughout the months, he starts to climb until August, where he has that match with Goto. And he brings out all the moves of the former Bullet Club leaders and Kota Ibushi to win. And the same thing with Giulia happens here. She uses the moves of her teammates and her best friend to win.
That is a perfect comparison. I can't wait to read it even more now. You have me stumbling over words. I try not to stumble over my words when I do these things because I'm usually recording all the time, but you nailed that. And
I'm trying very hard to articulate it properly.
You're doing it perfectly, I think.
I gotta give all credit to you, James. That was super well put and articulated. I'm stumbling over my words constantly. This is my first time ever doing this, so my apology. But you hit the nail right on the head. That there's just something special about the way that both Kenny went about winning the G1 and Giulia winning the red belt here in the nice hours of 5 a.m. for me. But
it was like 12 for me because it started at like 7:20 with the Rumble match.
Long show. It was 8 a.m. for me, if anyone's wondering. I think with this match and really with this win and what Giulia is going to go on to do, because we know she's going to go on and be excellent, right? Is that it almost doesn't matter, and this is a pro wrestling specialty. It's that it's always about the chase with people like this, right? With Giulia, the Kenny, it was all about the chase to that IWGP title. His reign, some will say is very forgettable. Obviously, he went on, lost to Wrestle Kingdom, went on to AEW.
Hey, that Cody Ibushi triple threat ruled. I don't know what you're talking about.
Should have just did the singles matches.
I will never forgive Cody Rhodes in my life. This is where my grudge for Cody started, by the way. It has nothing to do with him leaving AEW.
Anyway, but the one thing I think Giulia has over all those is that she is going to have the reign that follows the chase perfectly. And I think it's so rare that happens, really, right? Like, you can name so many chases in wrestling. There's many. Syuri had a chase, and then she had a reign. I thought she had a great reign.
I'm going to be honest. I wasn't sold on Syuri when she became champion because I thought she would be better as a chase. She had that match with Mirai. I really like Mirai, so I like that match. But I was still kind of on edge until the Risa Sarah match, and that's where it clicked that she is a credible champion.
Yeah, I think you and some people I've talked to, that's the one where it's like, all right, this was the right move. And I don't think we need I'm confident we're not gonna have to wait for that with Giulia. I'm pretty sure we're already well on our way, but it is the matter of, all right, let's get one under our belt and then let's see from there. But you both have perfectly explained why this match why this chase, this journey for Giulia was so good and so special. It, you know, it's rare that I can say a match is my match of the year before it ends.
Yeah.
And that's what happened in this match,
Mhm.
right? You know, and I've written about the Giulia Konami match from last year and how that's a very, very special match to me. And this is special in a different way, but at the same time, it's really that Giulia specialty and that she's able to, like you said, connect it all and make it count. So, you know, I've been talking for 2 hours, 21 minutes, and 7 seconds, which is a long time. I don't think I ever do this. So I will ask for, you know, parting words. You know, James, I know it's late for you anyways, so I don't want to
Yeah.
hold you too long. But James, give me your final thoughts here on the show, the main event, and where Stardom's going in 2023.
So the show, it looked kind of meh on paper, but the thing with Stardom is they almost always over deliver on their matches, on their big shows. So I can't really complain.
Yeah, that's very true.
And Melter lost.
I'm not going to say anything.
And we're having a nice moment here, everybody. We're having a nice moment here with the main event. Any final thoughts on the main event, James?
I'm trying to think of a way to word it without just completely spoiling what I've written already.
Yeah, don't. Of course, we don't want everyone. Go check out James's Substack. You can follow him on Twitter at James Set Radio to make sure you see that. I don't want you to spoil it either, obviously.
Yeah.
So even if you don't have to say anything, you just say, "Yeah, it was really good." And
I think
and then,
the best way to talk about this match is what happened, how I felt. For most of the match, I was basically trembling. I was so scared that Giulia would not win because she's had this journey for 3 years. But if she loses now, it's over.
Yeah.
The story arc just doesn't really make sense because she's faced Suzu, she's faced Tam Nakano, and now she faces Syuri. So if she loses here, shit, I guess. So for most of the match, I'm basically deathly silent, hoping that Giulia wins.
Yeah.
And there are 2 moments that I can remember very vividly where I make sound. And I was talking for like all the other matches pretty much. Because I was like invested in matches, but then there's the main event.
sure.
And there's these 2 moments in the match where I audibly let out noise. The first one is Tiger Lily. I recognize that instantly and I start crying. And I'm just deathly silent for the rest of the match until the 1, 2, 3. And I'm like, oh my god, because she finally fucking did it.
I don't think I could have had you explain it any other way than that. That was perfect, James. I mean, thank you, you know, so much for jumping on. Again, I know it's late. I know we didn't know if you were able. We didn't know if you would be able to jump on or not. But I'm grateful you did because hearing your side on the main event and this show, and you know the little melt here jabs, you know they filled us with. They filled this show, I think, and emphasized and perfectly brings together what really Stardom's really best at and what Giulia's best at. So last comment heading into 2023, how you feeling about Stardom?
Oh boy. I don't know who will beat Giulia at all. I know
That's
that.
kind of exciting though, isn't it?
Yeah. I know that Mayuki has to be a challenger somewhere. Probably the first defense.
Yep.
But with the white belt, I feel like I have an idea of what could happen. But I may be totally wrong. I think that Utami has to beat Saya Kamitani, so we have the Aphrodite match. Right? So we start there. And then you have Mayu beat Utami somewhere down the line. because they have that match for the red belt. And then finally, you'll never see this coming. Starlight Kid beats Mayu for the white
I
belt.
never saw that one coming. Nope, not from you. No, I didn't see that one coming. That is a perfect journey, though.
I feel like that has to be the direction.
I love that. I've been very much on the Mayu to SLK road. I think that's the preferable road based on their history. And I hope you're right. I want you to be right. I love that direction. You know, maybe we'll be completely wrong. Who knows? Maybe it's not Utami. Maybe it's someone else than Mayu. That's also possible. But I like your road. I hope you're right. And I am very happy you came on today. Thank you so much. Go get some sleep since you haven't slept.
I
I'll
would
let
just
you...
like to give a quick
yeah.
shout out to Azumi, Suzu Suzuki, and Starlight Kid, because those are like my favorite wrestlers right now, and they're all around my age. So seeing these people my age be so good at this sport is just fucking amazing, and I love it so much.
It is, and what a trio to build the future of Stardom and Joshi overall. All right, James, I'll let you go. Thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate talking with you. Have a great
Thank
night.
you.
All right, 6 Star. I don't remember what I had final questions to ask you before I wrap this up. I appreciate everyone that has stayed with me from start to finish, if that's anyone. I know 6 Star has, and I'm grateful for everyone that, you know, has listened to me and read me all year long. We're sitting here on the 29th of December. 2022 will go down as my best year yet. But I appreciate everyone. And 6 Star, when it comes to this show, this promotion, how excited are you on a scale of 1 to 10?
10. I mean, the show going into it, like has been said, the card felt kind of weird, and the show itself felt kind of weird. I think Peps was the one who said that earlier, and I agree with that sentiment to an extent. But regardless of that weirdness, regardless of quite possibly the worst booking decision of all time, Meltier losing the tag straps, I'm really excited for Stardom, and I'm really excited for the next show. I said this to you yesterday, but the April show has quite possibly the coolest name for a pay-per-view for all 2023. As it's Stardom, was it Stardom Grand Queendom,
All-Star.
right? All-Star Grand Queendom. That's such a cool name.
We're only all-stars here.
That we are. But, I mean, there's so much to be done with the white belt, especially with Giulia's red belt reign. That path that James just explained is a really good possible path for the white belt.
Doesn't have Poi in it, though.
So I was going to say the same thing. I think that's a really wonderful story. I'm just really excited to see who's going to face Giulia and when they're going to face Giulia, because I think that who you're going to have face Giulia at the different points of the year is going to be what really makes this reign feel special, because I think there's so much good story that could be told even now that the chase is over. I think that the actual holding of the belt can be even better than the chase, which is not something I feel confident saying about most big title wins. I'm personally really, I think for me, I'm most excited about the Suzu Suzuki rematch for Giulia.
Suzuki rematch, the hopeful Starlight Kid match, my Kihi, and the Ice Ribbon Chronicles that Giulia has going. Let's see, the Utami match, first time ever, a big Mayu match. You know, I'm never gonna say no to that. What else? There's just so many. Natsupoi is a match that makes so much sense based off of, you know, I'll never forget Giulia bullying Natsupoi in the 5 Star. That was assault. Natsupoi needs that.
That was nasty.
Yeah, Natsupoi needs revenge there. You know, Saya Kamatani's an interesting one. Momo Watanabe, you know, those two hate each other. there is so many matches. There are so many possibilities. Konami is a good one if we can get her. If we can get her in a match in Hiroshima, then we have a shot because she doesn't go anywhere else. So next Hiroshima pay-per-view, we better be booking that. Manny, thank you. Haven't seen this full shit yet, but man, what a pay-per-view. Shout out to y'all for doing y'all thing. Thank you so much. Thank you so much,
Manny. Much love, Manny.
Thank you so much to everyone. I mean, this has been so much fun. I hope this is the show that people checked out to get into Stardom. I think the 5-star Grand Prix final was for a lot of people, because I talked to a lot of people and recommended matches to them, which were just the Giulia matches, and then Mayu and SLK, because that match is very special to me as a fan. But it was a hell of a year for Stardom. It was a hell of a year for the 5-star Joshi Show. Everyone got the debut of the 6-star Joshi Show today.
Let's go.
One of many times, hopefully, in the new year. I'm going to make 6-star come on here many, many times, until school gets in the way. But yeah, and when Natsupoi wins, you know who's going to be on this show for that. All right, I already got the guarantee for that one.
There's another guarantee or two that we have. I will definitely be making my appearance on the 5-star Joshi Show, my reappearance on the 5-star Joshi Show sooner rather than later. I'm really perhaps mayhaps when it's boss
if
time.
It is, I don't know if it is. I mean, I won't be upset not hearing Michael Cole scream that. I hope they scream it in Japanese.
I need Mayu Iwatani on commentary screaming it's boss time. That's a guarantee. That's a guarantee to get me back here. Also, Mayu Iwatani and Mercedes is also one of those. And Mercedes doing anything in Stardom.
Mercedes doing anything. Mercedes exists.
This is true.
In something that isn't named WWE.
I agree.
Then I get to retire.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not going to think about it. The day you retire is the end of my wrestling fandom. That will be the saddest day. That'll be the saddest day in the Joshi community, and I don't think I'll ever recover. But I also will never recover from Mercedes Mayu Iwatani. I will live with that match for the rest of my life, and I can die happy the moment that that a hand gets raised. But besides that, thank you, Scott, for everything. The 5-star Joshi Show is the premier Joshi podcast on all of the internet. There's a reason why I listen to it and every week, and why so many others do, and that is because you, Scott Edwards, are a terrific host with a terrific insight on Stardom and Joshi as a whole, and I could not be more happy to make not just my Joshi podcast debut, but my podcast debut on any other channel but the one that I have been supporting as much as I have, the 5-star Joshi Show.
Thank you so much, 6-star. Thank you. So you have me lost for words now. I don't like getting credit or anything. Like, that's not my thing. I just like doing my thing, I like doing my shows. I like talking about Joshi. That's pretty much all I do. That's all I do. I don't even have a job anymore because of this. But I'm happy that you're coming on. I appreciate you so much. I appreciate this conversation. I mean, for the first time we get to chat, I think we got many more in the future. I think this is locked and loaded. I mean, we're just gonna have to count on Natsupoi, because Natsupoi's success guarantees I get the 6-star Joshi Show running. But you know what I need you to do to close out the show? I need you to hit us with the slogan that I hit the beginning of the show with every time.
Okay. I gotta get this perfect.
Big
moment.
I
have it tweeted a million times. I can't fumble it, so I'm gonna make sure I have it here. Let me go to my profile, because I've tweeted this so many times. It's my favorite. It's my favorite thing.
Also, thank you, Matt. Appreciate it. Thank you, Colin. Appreciate it. Thank you, everybody. But I want 6-star to close us out, right?
And I will. Give me a second. I just got to pull it up. Make sure I cannot. I will never forgive myself if I fumble saying it. So I got to pull it up. Where is it? No. I have this tweeted like a million times. Why is it not popping up?
You commented. It was the first comment. Did you comment it?
I did. Oh, you're so right.
Yeah,
You're
I think
so
it was
right.
the third comment. That was at 3:04. It's now 5:36.
It was also the first comment in general.
Oh, look at that.
Well, I'm gonna say like an outro version of that of it. Is
All right.
okay.
I
Well,
don't know what that is like, but go ahead.
well, goodbye, everyone. This has been the 5-Star Joshi Show here on the Fight Game Media Network, hosted by Scott Edwards, and it has been my sincerest pleasure to be here as a guest today, and I'm excited to talk Joshi with you more in the future and to watch this show. I hope everyone here subscribes. I hope everyone here subscribes to the Patreon. It is one of the greatest subscriptions I have made, and I think it'd be a lovely birthday Christmas present to yourself and to Scott Edwards and to me, because 5-Star Joshi Show success is success for me, because I love this show, I love this brand, and I'm going to continue to support it as best I can. Thank you again, Scott. It has been great. Follow me on Twitter, everyone, at 6stardom.
Thank you, 6-Star. And that right there is the end of the 5-Star Joshi Show Stardom Dream Queendom review. If you're just tuning in and you only heard us talk, the Patreon version will be up by the end of the night. We will have the audio version up because that's how we roll. But thank you so much for listening. Until next time, everybody, have a good one. We got a big week next week because there's Wrestle Kingdom. I don't know if everyone knows. There's an IWGP Women's title match to discuss and maybe a little more. All right. So long, everybody.